Here we go. What's up, everybody? Morning. Welcome to Masterclass Central Florida. The last session of the year. Could y'all give each other a round of applause for being here, for making it out? We did not know how this transition would go, but we also didn't know Harry Buffalo was going to close. So that's an interesting thing. So this actually worked out great. You guys like the venue so far? Has it been good here this year? All right. Shout out to Enzian. I think we'll be back here next year. We got a few sessions already. Would you guys like to be back here next year? If you don't, it's probably not a way to get claps. So tell me in private if you didn't, but I think everyone's happy. January session, you can't register for yet, but I'll send you an email to everybody. January session, I know TJ Cosgrove, Gil Ramos, and some other people are going to be speaking, and I don't know the exact title, but it's going to be a message of hope, and it's going to be a message about how the future is bright for you in the industry over the next few years, and it's going to be a good one, so you're going to want to come to that. That's whatever the third Thursday in January is. Somebody that has a calendar, just yell out whatever the third Thursday in January is. Somebody check for me because I have no clue. Okay, and otherwise, so if you've never, I'm pretty sure everyone that's here has probably been here before. Who here's been here to Masterclass before? Make some noise. The new people, welcome. We do this every third Thursday, and it's put on by Orlando Real Producers and our advertising partners. So basically, a lot of people don't really know what we do or how it works, so I'll give you the quick understanding. We make a magazine about and for the top 500 real estate agents in Greater Orlando. We objectively rank them based off data once a year, invite them to 4 private events. If you've been to our events, you know. If you haven't been, you probably weren't in the top 500, and we hope to see you in it soon. Have y'all ever been to one of our parties? If you have, make some noise. I think sometimes we do awards galas, we open them up a little more, but we've got one on November 30th, so if you're in the top 500, make sure you check your emails, your texts, all that stuff, and the Facebook group for the group. But anyway, this whole program is put on by about 80 companies that are our advertising partners. We call them preferred partners, and what's cool is they don't support the thing by bringing bagels or donuts, so if you meet anyone in this room that doesn't sell real estate, what it means is they're one of the best at what they do, and you actually want to know them. It'd be a benefit for you to meet these people in your business, because everyone that supports the platform, everyone that's a sponsor here, everyone that has an ad in the magazine, everyone that's allowed at our events. By the way, if you're not supporting this thing and you're some kind of affiliate and you're in this room, you should probably leave before I kick you out. I don't see any of you, but I just figured I'd start saying that every month. But anyway, they commit to supporting the platform long term. So they're referred by top 500 agents, which means they're the best at what they do, and you should meet them. A few of them stepped up to sponsor today's session, and I'm going to give them each just a minute to tell you who they are, what they do. Make sure you follow them, scan their QR codes when they come up and whatnot. And we're going to let the sponsors speak first, and then I'm going to introduce the panelists and also share a few other things. So anyway, let's go. Chance, you guys want to get these things started? Just hold that left button till it turns green. And any other sponsors, come up to the front of the room. Hopefully, the ones that aren't here, I'll remember to shout them out. But let's get this thing rolling.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone. My name is Chance Kelly. I'm here with Miracle Movers of Florida. I've been a proud sponsor of this for about, we're going on 7 straight months now, and I have done every opportunity I can. You guys are amazing, and I love being in front of you guys. So if you ever have any clients, any personal use, whatever may have you, anyone that needs to be relocated, local, long distance, I offer storage, I offer warehousing, anything that you guys need, I love to assist. The person that you refer to me will only deal with me. There is no ping pong around to a different salesperson, a dispatch. I am your one-stop shop. I do everything from head to toe. I was honestly at a sponsorship with him last night and didn't realize that this was this morning. So I had to reschedule and cancel. I'm actually happy I'm not working crew right now. So this is awesome. So thank you guys so much for having me. And please, if you have any questions, I'd love to get all of your information to be able to contact you directly so we can really develop a relationship. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Love it. All right, let's keep this going. Y'all, come on down. Come on down. Everyone kind of join us. We could do a line here, right? There's only a few of it. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. I am Jocelyn. I'm here with Home First Lending. I want to give a shout out to everybody that showed up here today. It is nasty. It's been a week of nasty weather, but obviously you guys still came and threw out the rain, which means you're here to grow your business and see how you guys can take yourselves to the next level, and that's what's important, getting through the rain. So shout out to you guys for being here, and I'm here also to support you guys. So with Home First Lending, 2 things I want to quickly focus on. Obviously, Hometown Heroes is back, which is an amazing program. However, those funds bonds will not be here forever, and we all want those down payment assistance programs. Fannie Mae just came out with an amazing program. Program's been around for a little while, but the great news is they just added 9 cities in Florida to this program that's going to give your buyers $5,000 towards closing cost assistance, cover their appraisal, and a home warranty. So the thing about it is that Orlando, Kissimmee, and Sanford are 3 of the cities out of the 9 in Florida. Ask me how I can help you get that $5,000 for your first-time home buyers, okay? Second thing I wanted to focus on real quick.
We only got a minute for each company. Sorry. Let's keep on going. Yeah, no, 60 seconds. Sorry. Let's give it up for Home First Lending.
All right. I got more. Come see me after.
Yeah, definitely connect with her because she'll tell you all about it. Ivan, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. So, again, just like Jocelyn said, good thing that you're here. I know it's raining. I know there's traffic and everything, but you care about your business, so that's why you're here. You want to grow. I'm with the home team of Movement Mortgage. So pretty much just what that means is we are a big bank. We're under Movement Mortgage. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But let me start again. Home team of Movement Mortgage. We are licensed in all 50 states. We have your hometown feeling, but we're a big bank. That means that we service 95% of the loans that we have. If you have your trouble deals that you can't find a way to get the client under contract, come to us. We can always find a solution for you. We have a few of our teammates around the whole stage. There's some people out here. There's some people over there. So any questions you have, we're here to help you.
You come find them. Thank you, guys. Home team at Movement Mortgage. All right, and then we're going to give a 1, 2, 3 clap in a few seconds, and you guys can. You could just leave these mics on the chairs if you want, and go on stage left if you'd like. We're going to give a 1, 2, 3 clap to a few people that couldn't make it out today that sponsor every single month all year. Let's give a 1, 2, 3 clap first for the staging company. 1, 2, 3. Also, our friends at Unique Title, one of our newest sponsors of the publication and the masterclass. 1, 2, 3. We've got also Heather Hurry, the Jeff Mackey team at Pillar to Post. She's usually at check-in. She's usually helping set up. They support literally everything we've done. I think they've sponsored all 60 sessions of Masterclass that we've ever hosted, which is pretty amazing. Could we give them a 1, 2, 3? And hold on. Sorry, y'all. I think there's one more. Maybe 2 more. Steve Bell with Harding Bell International. I know he's at the NAR convention right now. He's the money man. See him for your accounting. This is about the time of year that you definitely need to be calling him if you hadn't already. 1, 2, 3. And Shay Walker, of course. The Shay Walker photo. Let's give her a 1, 2, 3. And last but certainly not least, we've got our friend, 2 more, sorry. Title Genius, 1, 2, 3. And our friend Monica Santiago with Assured Partners. Let's give her a 1, 2, 3. And then last but certainly not least, this guy brought the coffee today and every other month, and he sponsors every session of Masterclass too. Let's give a giant round of applause to Vic DeVore, DeVore Design. Bring us home, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I want to do something a little bit different. I want you guys to say a prayer with me. Just repeat after me. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to understand the difference, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to understand the difference. Don't sweat the small shit, guys. It's not worth it. You don't have any control over the market. You got no control over interest rates. There's nothing that you can do except the things that you can. Focus on that. Life's too short. You understand? If you change the way that you're looking at something, the things that you're looking at will change. Let's hear a round of applause for you, your families, and your loved ones, and let's take a selfie together, guys. Get in here, Aaron.
All right, let's do it. And let's get this thing going.
Love you guys. Round of applause. Come on.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Let's give it up for all the sponsors. You'll see them on the slides. Make sure to thank them. Any of them that you don't see here, make sure to tease them and be like, hey, I didn't see you there, but I saw you on the screen. And they'll know that at least that they got some love. Let's bring some of our panelists up. But first, I do want to share, if you haven't already heard, there's some unfortunate news. One of our panelists, Yusuf Squires, who was really looking forward to it, is actually no longer with us. And so I just think we should take like a moment of silence. We're going to leave him a chair. He earned that chair. He sold over $50 million last year, which means out of 24,500 plus agents in all of Greater Orlando, not just our board, Osceola, South Lake, he ranked number 12. So the people he beat out last year were like legends. Like I think right at 13 was Kelly Price, and 14, like the people were just a bunch of legends. And this kid was 27 years old, brain aneurysm, very random, very tragic, and he's no longer with us. We're going to leave him a chair because he earned it. But I guess you can't really applaud that or something. Let's give him let's give him a moment of silence for a second. And that's for Yusuf Squires. There's a memorial slide that'll come up for anyone that had a question or whatnot. Let's bring up Brian, though. I don't want to spend too long on that. Brian Hyser is a highly successful real estate agent. Sorry, you have to go after that, Brian. Brian Hyser is a highly successful real estate agent in Central Florida whose impressive career sales boasts over $150 million in residential real estate. But check this out, in only 5 years. By the way, our panelists are all in the top 40 in all of those areas, 24,000 agents, and they're all 40-ish or below. I know Justin told me, hey, I'm 42, and I was like, don't tell anybody. So I probably shouldn't have said that because he doesn't look 40, but everyone here is under 40. It was a top 40 under 40. We had enough people that couldn't make it, and we figured that 42 was close enough. But I think it's pretty cool because most of these people are fairly new to real estate or got in really young. So anyway, $150 million. He launched his company, Hyser, has been winning awards at the Orpies every year. I'm skipping over a whole bunch of stuff. But he actually went to college on a basketball scholarship, for those of you that didn't know that. Former chiropractor as well. He helped me save my back in the past. And with emergency surgery that only Brian could help me get scheduled. So let's give a round of applause to Brian Hyser. All right, Brandon Ramirez, part of the TJC group, part of Real Broker. That's the TJ Cosgrove group at Real Broker. Their team sold over $1 billion in real estate. Brandon sold over $40 million last year. And check this out. In his first 5 years, he sold over $100 million in real estate. He's also cracked that list, but two of them have been just crushing it. He has no website, no social media, and his business card is just hard work and perseverance to help his clients achieve their goals, which I think is pretty amazing. Let's give it up for Brandon Ramirez. Harif Hazera is one of Central Florida's most trusted real estate advisors. He currently ranks in the top 50 agents out of 24,000 plus agents. And I'm pretty sure he's done that for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years straight, something along those lines. I think every year we've made a list, Harif has been in the top 50, but just throwing it out there. Over $150 million in personal sales. And he does a whole bunch of volunteer work with a whole bunch of organizations. Instead of listing them all, let's just give it up for Harif Hazera. Justin Pekarek. Is Justin here yet? I know he texted me he was running a little bit. Okay, sweet. Just checking. Justin Pekarek's the broker and owner of Orlando Property Advisors, and thanks to his video marketing talents, he's ranked in Orlando Magazine's top 100 realtors 3 years in a row. In fact, he was in our top 30 as well last year or so, or top 50, something like that. Anyway, Justin's the host of Parade of Homes Orlando and has grown his YouTube channel from 12,000 subscribers in only 3 years. He's on track to sell over $40 million this year, sold over $40 million last year. And Justin's adaptability to any market is one of his biggest assets. Let's give it up for Justin Pekarek. All right, let's just get this thing started. Here's what I'd like to ask. And by the way, if any of you end up with a question, you can feel free to, I'm going to walk around a little bit, try to snag me, and you can whisper the question, and I may throw it in here. But we've got a list of questions we plan on asking, and we're already starting late. So we will probably use these unless we need yours. But if you got a really good one, you're jonesing for it, grab me as I walk around. So here's where I want to start. What'd you do before real estate? How'd you get started? What's your business look like today? Like, give us a little bit like metrics, team size, who's on the team. Is it single agent? Give us kind of the rundown of where you started and where it's at. Start with you, Justin. Oh, by the way, left button on the mics. We should turn it on, and sometimes you got to hit it twice to unmute it.
Check.
There you go.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Well, before real estate, that was a long time ago, because I'm the old guy up on the stage. I was a professional figure skater growing up in Michigan, and then I became a choreographer and coach many years ago. I feel like Forrest Gump. I had a second career before my middle career, which was engineering. A lot of things that don't really go together, but I've said this before at other speaking engagements. The creativity side for me is what keeps me going, because sales can be brutal. We're about to enter that cycle, and it's just like a grind. And we celebrate all these victories of sales and numbers, but you have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to quit. So for me, the creative side, the outlet, it takes me back to creating something, whether it's a choreographic program or a video, and then we get to do the sales side where we make the money. So that's what makes me me. So I started the brokerage Orlando Property Advisors 3 years ago after working at 2 other luxury firms, which I still very much respect and have friends there. And I just wanted to be by myself, play in my own sandbox. And people came to me and we do video stuff, but I just keep it small and I don't have an assistant or a big team, it's just me.
Love it. Awesome. Brandon.
All right, so when I got into real estate, I came from a hospitality background. I went to Rosen College and worked in a hotel as a front desk agent for about 5 years, and was approached by TJ, and he changed my life 100%. What attracted me to real estate was the, every day is different kind of mentality, but mainly. In my old job, I kind of felt like I was running in place, and no matter how hard I worked, there was never a difference in your paycheck or what could be. So TJ gave me a true path to just sprint down, which I'm forever thankful for. Our team is we're under Real Broker LLC, and it's a growing team, and but I'm just the same kind of thing. I'm a lone ranger out there, but I have the best teammates ever. I lean on them all the time for advice. To this day, the other day I asked one of my agents, Stacy, for advice, and so you're never really an expert. Kind of stay green and just work as hard as you possibly can.
Love it. Brian.
I moved down here in 2010 as a chiropractic intern for a doctor out in Lake Mary, and over the course of 6 years, after that internship was over, I ended up opening up an office in Altamont Springs, and we grew to about 5 offices. During that time, I met my wife, had my first son, and figured I couldn't do this anymore because I was working 8 to 8, Monday through Friday, every other weekend. Wasn't able to see my kids very often. Made a very, very difficult decision to step out of, chiropractic, where the income was great. I was making good money. And my good friend was a real estate broker in Lake Mary. He's like, dude, you should do real estate. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Real estate, I can't do real estate. Ended up, taking a leap of faith because of the flexibility. Loved it, every second about it. Opened up my office in Hyser in 2021. We now have 30 amazing agents in Winter Park, and we're just doing our thing. So,
kind of like everybody, I don't think if I asked everyone to raise their hand who thought they'd be a real estate agent when they were a child, I probably wouldn't get very many hands raised. But yeah, I come from the health and fitness industry prior. I was in the oil and gas industry for a while, and stumbled into real estate. I was just desperately looking for a vehicle that would give me the potential to earn as much as I want to earn. And I'll spare you all the details, but basically I was making $24,000 a year selling CrossFit training packages. And I was newly married and was just like, God, I need something, So anyways, real estate presented itself as an opportunity. And then after a couple years, after I started out at Berkshire Hathaway, and within 3 years in Winter Park, I became the #1 agent there, wanted to start a team. Now we're at Premier Sotheby's, and we have a team, total team count of 6 and growing. And yeah, just thankful to be here.
Right. I want to hear about your business model, like what it looks like, and also because some of you guys sort of touched on it, let's throw in how, like, your main focus and how you generate leads, like what your team mostly feeds off of, or what your business mostly feeds off of, I should say. Start with you, Justin.
Well, as I said, don't have much of a team, but over the years, trying to find a lead flow that I don't have to pay for has been a goal. And for me, that's become videos, whether that was from social media, Facebook, Instagram, but really finding YouTube was the watershed moment for me, because Google owns YouTube, and people search for moving to Orlando and Lake Nona and all of that sort of thing. So becoming a champion of those keywords led to more reach outs, and then your sales engine takes it from there. I actually made my own CRM using Microsoft Excel, and I still use it, and it goes along with a book. That's that engineer brain that I sometimes have, and sometimes have the right brain, the creative brain.
Love it. Tell me more about that.
Which one, the CRM or the lead flow?
The lead flow and the keywords. How do you dominate the keywords, and how'd you pick them?
Learning YouTube was like opening a book you've never read. It was, you think you know social media and how it works and the algorithm, and it's always changing. And discovering it and trying to keep up with it was the challenge, and it made it interesting. You know, you could spend hours just making a thumbnail, trying to get more clicks. And then how long do they stay watching? You know, the average watch time on vertical Instagram is maybe 6 seconds. And to get someone to watch for 6 minutes on horizontal YouTube, then you must have a pretty good video. You capture their attention that long. And that's the people that reach out. Those are the ones who are like, hey, I watched like 17 of these, and I'm calling you at 8 o'clock at night from California. You don't get those leads by paying Zillow or paying Realtor.com $300 a month to click. You're just a number at that point. So that's kind of the goal.
Where'd you learn about it?
The internet.
Like what? Like if someone in no, I know it sounds silly, but let's say someone in this room is like, I want to learn how to dominate
that's
YouTube.
fair. No,
like
you're
where do
absolutely
you
right.
go? What
So-
resources do you actually trust? Let's put it that way. Obviously, the internet has a lot of information on it.
Sure.
So
No,
where do you
I'm
get
gonna-
good information?
I'm going to share that, and kind of the story of you started your firm in 2021. I left my previous brokerage right before this thing called COVID happened. And I said, what did I just do? Start a brokerage, and now our whole industry's dead? And that's kind of how it feels for the past 2 months, right? Where nothing's been going on, you can work out at home, and you're just waiting for those sales to happen. So during that time, I joined all these groups, Facebook, how to do YouTube for realtors. There's a nationwide group, and other realtors share what they're doing in their markets. And they even say, like, hey guys, this worked, you should copy it and do it for your industry. But as many have said with social media, classes and all that, unless you go and do the work yourself, you're just getting these nuggets, but you have to then do it.
Love it. Brandon, let's talk about your business model. Obviously, what's the business model look like, and where do you focus on generating your leads?
You know, the more into real estate I've gotten, I've realized that a lot of my leads just come from the sphere of people that I've already, you know, repeat business, referrals, and things like that. But, you know, starting out, I was lucky to have TJ and be able to, you know, given lists of, you know, people to call, warm leads, and just literally locked myself in a room and just made calls till I couldn't anymore. And that just snowballed into so much for me. So I was lucky enough to not, you know, I don't know any ways of getting in marketing and things like that. But for me, it was really just relentless calling and you know, at that point, just making friends. You know, everybody I work with, any of my clients, they become friends. And that's where I find myself, you know, with the majority of my sales nowadays.
Do you know what type of lists you're calling usually?
Well,
Or is that a TJ question?
you know, that's a TJ question for sure.
Understood. TJ, where do your lists come from? Love it. But is he all types of lists, I'm assuming? Red light, basic. Okay. All his marketing generates income and stuff, and then your team feeds off it, and you make a ton of calls. How many calls do you think that is in a sitting
Oh man.
or a day?
I mean, there's been days where like I laugh about it, but like it'll be 11 o'clock and I can't, you know how your phone kind of, you can only scroll so far. I mean, it'll be 11 and sometimes the last call I can see is at 9, you know, or 8:50, you know, it's like all day long, and you know, sometimes it's exhausting, but yeah, it's nonstop.
Love it.
I don't know how Brandon does that because I can't make phone calls. I can't sit in front of a screen and make calls all day. That's just not my personality. No offense. I just can't do that. You know, when I got into real estate, I got a phone call that I think changed my life. And a lot of people don't really care for paid leads. I'm all about it. Like since day one, I think the new agent that comes into the business that doesn't have a sphere, that doesn't have, you know, maybe moved here from another part of the country, they don't have those people around them that they can, you know, that they can say, hey, you want to buy a house? You want to buy a house? So what I did when I first started was, Zillow called me and said, I thought I was like the guy. I was like, wow, they're calling me, They said, hey, for $1,000 a month, I'll get you in front of this many people, and you do your thing. And I did that, and it kind of scaled from there. We spend more money, on Zillow than a lot of brokerages here in Central Florida. For me, it's just an opportunity to build relationships, and I have no problem with that. A lot of my clients, from Zillow refer their friends, their family. If you do a good job at at selling real estate or helping that client, what's going to end up happening is their friend, their family, their sister, brother, whoever is going to start referring, that business. So as a new agent, I used it, and now, as I've kind of gone over, the course of time, I've been in the business now for 6 years. I haven't had to rely so much on Zillow, but I'm focusing more on my past and my repeat business. So,
what do you think you do differently with Zillow leads that other people aren't doing that allows you to build your business off of Zillow while other people buy leads and do little with them?
I think a lot of people are so focused on the transaction itself. Once the deal closes, it's like, see you later, I got divorced, and you're no longer communicating with them. Big thing for me is follow-up. I think if you're generating leads and you're not meeting these people in face-to-face, it's hard to get them to a property right off the bat. So, we're big advocates for follow-up. We use a system called Follow-Up Boss, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know about. They were just acquired by Zillow, which is kind of crazy. That happened the same time NAR came out and the whole deal. But anyways, that's another conversation. But yeah, so for me, it's follow-up's big. I'm big into relationships, so I spend, and this will probably be a question later on, I spend about an hour and a half every morning, focusing on the list of clients that I have, whether they're hot clients, active, nurture, past clients. I focus on that for an hour and a half every morning, uninterrupted. So if I have an agent that calls me, I don't take any of those calls. I focus on that. Building relationships was big for me. So,
how do you make sure you stay in touch with those people? I got to ask.
what
Maybe
the
that's a
past-
question later, actually. So never mind. I'll ask everybody that one later, now that I think about it. Harif, tell us about what the model looks like today and what you focus on primarily lead gen-wise.
Yeah, I just want to say what I love about this industry is that there's not only one way to do the business. Everything that we're sharing is a way, and then you can kind of align it to what kind of lifestyle and what is a better fit and match for you. For me, the smartest thing I think I ever did, because I came from a personal training background, and I'd have people that were struggling with their weight or their physique for many, many, many years, and then within 6 months, their whole life would change because they had a coach and had somebody that knew what they were doing and holding them accountable. So I hired a real estate coach day one. I was paying more money at that time for a coach than what my rent was, and it was terrifying. But it was an investment, and so anyways, I did everything that he told me to do. I built my entire business off of open houses, and the biggest thing that he told me to do was don't worry about your commission split. It's usually the first thing that most realtors think about, and I think it's the last thing you should honestly think about. Get around an environment where people are doing better than you, and that there's a culture of generosity, and they're willing to share. Because a lot of the times agents, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like you get, hey, so what do you do on a listing presentation? Oh, we see each other as competition, but if you have an abundance mindset, every successful agent I've ever met has an abundance mindset, and they were always willing to share. So anyways, I just did open houses, literally every single weekend. If you do one open house every single weekend, that's 52 open houses a year. I guarantee you will get business from there. If you don't, and if you are transaction minded, then you'll miss out on the gold that comes from that one opportunity. And so listings for me is key. I have relied on, to be honest with you guys, like talent has taken me where I am now, which we did 40 million 2 years in a row. And I'm in that mindset now where what got me here won't get me to where I want to go next. So now it's all about systems, and I'm casting a whole vision for 2024. But for me, anytime I go through a dry spell lead-wise, I hit open houses. And for me to be a part, even if I don't have a list, my own listings to do it, I'm in a brokerage where I'm fortunate. We have a lot of listings and agents that share those listings, have good reputation. They know that I'm going to take care of their properties as if it were my own. And that's how I drum up business. And yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question or two on that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the open houses, how do you pick which ones you host them at? And what are some of the tips for like what you consistently do to make them effective for you that you don't think everyone else does?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, even if you didn't, let's say you had a crappy listing that was like 8 months on the market, nobody wanted to do them, you're better off sitting in there for 2-3 hours on a weekend than just doing nothing over the weekend. So I just want to preface that. I can tell you a lot of stories on how I've generated literally ridiculous deals through those opportunities. But for me, ideally, you want to pick an area that is in demand, has high traffic. The newer on the market it is, the better. And it's not in a gated community because that can be a little bit difficult, but just where there's the best exposure. Then from there, I email my list twice. I can tell you so many stories. I had a guy walk into my open house who came to an open house a year ago that I totally forgot about. He kind of just filled out my iPad. I use Open Home Pro. If you don't have that, I strongly recommend it. Open Home Pro, it's an iPad app. And you can automate it when they sign in. It automatically sends them an email as soon as they leave. And you could take notes, and then it tells you if they opened up your email, and it automatically feeds into Follow-Up Boss. So it eliminates a lot. It's like $20 a month. It's totally worth it. So
how about picking them?
What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How about picking them?
Picking the open
Yeah,
houses?
like where are you willing to do them? Where are you not willing to do them?
Dude, if I'm dry, I'll do a freaking open house. I'll do one right here in Enzian.
Anywhere, any type of house. There's not a specific.
No, if I have an option to, sure. I'm picking a higher price point. My average price point for last year was $1,077,000. So for me, I'm looking at those quality listings, generally a higher price point. I learned I did the same amount of volume last year, this year with 26 transactions. I only did 26 transactions. Last year I did 50.
Understood.
So I made the same amount of money working half. So not saying that's, well, thank you, but the competitive part of me is like, dude, what if I would have done 50 again? So anyways, that's how I'm picking them. I'm picking them. I'm very proactive. A lot of the listing agents don't want to do open houses, the veterans that have been in the game a long time. So I get good with them. I make sure that they know I'm professional. They can count on me. I have a good reputation. Again, I have sales under my belt, so they know I'm not just, whatever. It's not like a one-sided thing. And I go where there's the most exposure. The best areas, generally a higher price point. And yeah.
Love it. All right. I got a question for all of you. And you almost led into it, but then I took you down another trail. But I'm going to jump on this side to Justin and go all the way down. I want to talk about 2024 market. Let me rephrase my question because this is written originally for a COVID question. What are you doing today to pivot to the current market? And what do you expect next year? How are you, adjusting, and what are you focusing on?
I think we need to return to selling, not showing, selling, okay? Those of us that were around in 2012, 2014, when it was the end of the bank owns and it was just hesitation and people couldn't get mortgages. How many people have heard what a lease purchase is, right? There's going to be some of that, and there's going to be seller financing. There's going to be creative ways to do this. But what I'm noticing the most is buyers are hesitant for good reason. The mortgage rates are high. They want to predict it. But when you sense blood in the water and you can tell they like it, they trust your judgment. So as listing agents, I'm having to look at this buyer's agent and go, you need to tell them to buy this house, not me, you, because they trust you more than me. I'm the enemy. They want to get it for the lowest price. So I would love to see a return to selling when it's the right time to do it. And that takes a lot of cojones to do it right. You got to risk your own relationship with your client and say, I'm pushing them a little bit. Are they going to fire me? Are they going to think I'm pushing them too hard? And there's a time. There's also, I think, a revisiting of the advisory call session. Right? It's no longer, I work here, I want to live there, my kid's school is here. It's, we can live anywhere in greater Orlando. And we heard all these places are good. Can you show us all of them and figure out exactly what we want? New construction, and how exhausting is that, right? And we all have great knowledge of bringing buyers all over town, right? So, any of us could do it, but how do you accomplish that in an efficient way?
Talk about that. Talk about the consultation.
Well, we all have technology,
Talk
right?
about what you say to them to push them to it when they didn't want to.
Right,
And then what it looks like.
You're seeing people that engaged with maybe some other realtor, and they're like, this person only does this area. We don't, and happened to me too. Justin, you only do Lake Nona. I'm like, no, I know other places. I've brought people to other places. Let's talk. But then you have to be committed to that one buyer for how many hours? So you better want to be committed to that, because if you don't do it right, you don't deserve to close them. So maybe we're going to be going to a little bit less transactions, which is fine, and more quality service.
Brandon.
Yeah, so definitely no doubt that we're in a much tougher market than we were a year ago. I think there, as far as how to switch it up and continue to do the same numbers that you're doing, I think a lot of it is just working harder actually, and just reaching out to more buyers than you may have last year. I feel like the years prior to this, it was almost like we couldn't catch all that was going on. There were so many leads, so many buyers, and it was almost about who was more organized. And now it's back to selling, like going on a showing, having reasons of urgency for to create urgency for buyers to feel confident to make a purchase. And for any new agents out there, I also would say don't get frustrated if they're not buying on the first showing. That's not the market we're in. Don't show your frustration. Understand that this is a tough time to buy, and we're actually dealing with more reasons not to buy. The news and all that kind of stuff than there are for to buy. So put yourself in their shoes, and try to understand what it is, and that would make them pull the trigger in. But definitely keep in mind it might take 2-3 times to get that sale, and that's okay, because that just means you're working harder. But don't lose them either over trying to sense it. If you feel like they're not going to buy, maybe it's not the day. So
Can you think of an example of where you might have created urgency here? Just to give them an example of what we're saying. I might be putting you on the spot, but can you think of one where you kind of uncovered how to create urgency and push on it?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer, because the only reason is every house is different, every buyer is different. I like to see myself as kind of like a chameleon. So it's if you feel like that buyer is going to get turned off if you're too pushy, then don't push. Sometimes I've had buyers that feel like they're not going to buy, and then if you just pull back, all of a sudden they're asking you to hey, I want to put an offer in. So it'd be unfair for me to just tell you guys there's like a specific way to do it. It's knowing, put yourself in the other people's shoes every time, because they're people too, and they're everyone's different. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah.
Love it. Brian.
Obviously, I've only been in real estate since 2018, so I never went through what Justin's gone through.
I didn't really go through it. I came at it already tanked.
Okay.
So started from the bottom. Now we're here, right?
Yeah, right. No, but obviously, when you're new into into real estate, your focus really is a lot on buyers. But for me, I didn't have a lot of listings. But for those agents that did, in 2020, 2021, your job was so easy. Excuse me, sorry. It was a lot easier than it is today. You put a house on the market, you have 50 offers, you take the one that's the highest, it's the cleanest, and you close on it. Today, you gotta, like Justin said, you gotta sell it. So what are you doing that that you didn't have to do a couple years ago? What are you doing today that's selling that property? So,
Give me some examples. What are some of the things you do to sell the property?
I mean, we do a lot within our brokerage. So we have in-house marketing, which I think is really important to us. So we do a lot on social media. Every single listing we have, obviously, we take very, very good quality photography, custom video. We put it all over our social media. A lot of our younger agents that don't have a lot of business are flooding the open houses. So we're trying to hit that property as much as we possibly can in the beginning. So hopefully, if we're doing everything we typically do, we'll have the house under contract within the first week or two.
Can you give us kind of a rundown of what you do and maybe a few of the strategies you use to do it differently?
Well, like I said, it's a lot of the marketing up front. So we're putting our custom videos on all the major platforms, hitting open houses as many times as we possibly can for that property. Those are like the biggest things. And going back to advertising, a lot of the listings that we're getting are from past clients that we used on, that we got from, some sort of, lead generation. So the nice thing for us is, if we're focused mainly on, say, the Winter Park market, if a lot of times I've helped that client buy that property, I'm turning around and selling it, and we may have leads for them as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, love it. Harif.
So there's two things that I would encourage anyone that asks me that question. Number one is you need to have a buyer consultation. You need to have real systems. Number two is the most important, I would argue. The most important sale you'll ever make is you selling yourself on your product, on your service. And straight from Grant Cardone, and I don't know if you guys love him, hate him, whatever, but once I got totally, utterly convinced with unwavering, confidence that I am the best person for the job, then everything shifted for me. And I think a lot of times people skip that because you got, to everyone's point on the panel, the market's different. I'm very optimistic for 2024. I think 80% of the agents are terrified and they don't know what to do. And so when you're in fear, it's like deer in the headlights. You stop taking action and momentum. And I'm predicting I'm going to take a lot of ground in 2024 for the people that have been passive or scared or retreating. I'm leaning in. I'm going to spend more money on marketing. I'm going to do more than I've ever done. So I think because I'm sold. I'm sold on me. I'm sold. I'm convinced. And one of the questions that I always ask people right now is, okay, if you're renting, why wouldn't you own if you could? Like, if you ask the question, what's the alternative? Right now, rent is more than it's ever been also, and it's continuing to go up. Inventory is low, so the old saying, you marry the home, you date the rate, is in full effect. And so, but if you're not having a buyer consultation where you're preparing, you're educating them, you're doing them a disservice, and you're constantly reacting with your buyers. And you're competing with the media, you're competing with their friends who says this to do that, and this. And so all of that gets eliminated when you have a proper system of, I'm passionate with these P's, is like, so, it gets eliminated. So going back to the fundamentals, you have a listing presentation. Why don't you have a buyer presentation? Why don't you have a buyer consultation? Because we get so eager and we're transaction based. I could say something, sorry, my mind goes off. I got ADD and the inappropriate sayings, but so buyer consultation, have a buyer consultation, especially now with all this craziness with the commission stuff.
Give us an idea what your consultation would look like.
It's a whole system where I'm educated. Hey, one of the questions I ask will be, are you familiar with how the real estate market works right now? Because think about this. When is the last time they bought a house? Okay, if they're a first-time home buyer, you 100% need to ask that question. They have no idea what's getting ready to happen. And we think that we're trying to prepare them along the way as we show houses. That is just a recipe for disaster. It's not going to be a good experience for them. You're going to show more properties than you need to. You don't have a plan. They can feel it. And your burnout rate, I went through that my first couple years. And I was like, this is stupid. This is not fun for me. I'm spending all this gas. I got all this time. I don't know what objections they're thinking. I'm finding it out after the 20th home. It's ridiculous. So instead, if you address all of their issues up front before you show them one property, you eliminate all of that. And if your fear is, well, I don't want to lose to what if another agent shows them, again, then you're not really running a business. You're reacting. You're just kind of chasing the next potential hunt. And for me, it's like the analogy I tell my team, you could be like a cheetah. Cheetah, they're fast, they're talented, they're good. They might catch a zebra one day, then maybe some days they don't. That'll only take you so far, but I'd rather be the bear that finds out where the salmon are jumping into its mouth and just like camp out there. And so that's kind of my take on working with buyers. There is a process. I have a real buyer consultation before we show any property. They get qualified with a lender if they're financing before we show any properties. There are some exceptions. So I don't want you to be like, there's some exceptions.
What's in the process?
What's that?
Could you run through it real fast?
Yeah, so we have a buyer
Like an overview, at
consultation.
least?
It's an hour. I know we all know, all of us who've sold more than 5 homes, you know more about the process and about them than they ever will. I know the objections before they even think of what it is. So I lean into it. I actually create the objection during the buyer consultation. Hey, why are you interested in buying a home right now with high interest rates? Now they're selling you on why. Unless you have a weaker lead, then maybe they need a little bit more education. Because there's a bunch of misinformation right now. There's a bunch of fear. At the end of the day, if you could afford to buy a house, you're better off buying than renting. I'm sold on that. And if you're not sold on that, then you should be, finding leases instead of trying to sell people property. But maybe you're not entirely sold on this is a great time to buy. Regardless of what you're saying with the 8% interest rates and this, and you're timing it and all this, I'm sold right now is the best time. And anyways, buyer consultation, I'm educating them. I have real reasons on why it is the best time to buy right now, especially if you're renting. You're going to get crushed. You have zero control.
All right. Do you have something to add? Because you look like you got something to say.
What he said is just so spot on. I mean, it's, as realtors, we need to be the expert. We need to be the ones that give the information. So many people, so many clients think that we're just overpaid chauffeurs that open doors. So sitting down with a client, going over their objections, explaining the market, why it's a good time to buy versus rent. Like, yeah, we all know interest rates are high, but look at it over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, we're so used to those 2s and 3s that anything's going to feel high today. So if you can't afford that house you could afford 2 years ago, well, instead of a 500, let's go down to 300. Get build an asset instead of just throwing a bunch of money away every month. Have those conversations with those clients. I think that's just great. I love what he does, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. So.
Love it. Anyone else want to add anything on buyer consultations or listing consultations that hasn't shared or chimed in? Either of you want to chime in on anything related to that? I can keep going. If not, I just figured if y'all had any nuggets on that one, I'd ask you about them. All right, let's go to a new question. What's your schedule look like, day to day, week to week, month to month? Like, what are the recurring activities in your business? Let's go from this side and on down, Justin.
Schedule, what's that? When you got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 12-year-old, I feel like my life was taken over this morning, dropping kids off. But no, looking back, we were all pretty efficient. It was like you're in a telephone booth and the money's flying and we're grabbing it as fast as we possibly can. And now there's $1 bill in there. So you got to create more dollars to get in there. So we got to have that system of, I love that, looking at your hot, medium, cold. These are the top 50, the top 20 even. The most important people in my life. It's your current listings. It's buyers that maybe lost out on a purchase. But I think that's the best type of buyer, someone that just lost out. And now they realize, I got to offer a little bit more on the next one that I like. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing this over and over. So that's kind of my system is look at my dashboard, which is part of that CRM, see what deals are pending, see what listings I have, how do I get those sold, and then buyers that are hot, reach out to them. Then the creative stuff, if I have time, go make a new YouTube video or something about something that I can sell.
Are you batching it in any capacity?
We got the studio at home, and it's tough to. You change your shirt, you film again because you're going to be. It's a video multiple series kind of thing. Then you got to edit. So I'm not an expert at it yet, but we're pumping out at least 1 or 2 videos of good videos a month that are evergreen, so they can live on for years.
So you're day by day, basically. Going at it each day, and every day looks a little different.
Yeah, what is it? 30 to 50 emails a day, hundreds of texts, and they put the kids to bed, go back. As a single agent, that's just a fact of life.
How much of your day is spent on the phone? How much of it's spent in front of buyers? How much is in front of a computer?
A lot of talking, and I like getting it talked out, whether it's with your agents or other agents, and you're trying to make a deal happen. But it can eat up the time. You sit down, you say, I'm going to get this done in 20 minutes. And then 2 hours goes by. but they were probably good conversations. So I think the best agents, they have that multitask back of their head. I got this listing, I got this buyer, let's play a game of goldfish. You know, who does Brian have? Oh, he's got that new listing. Who do I have for that? Constantly be doing that to make deals happen.
Love it. Brandon, how about your routines day to day, week to week, or month to month?
Yeah, so to Justin's point, real estate's beautiful for me because, like Harif, I have ADD and I can't sit down for, more than 5 seconds. Right now I just want to get up and run around and do all that. But so real estate attracted me because I was in a 9-to-5 and I remember sitting down and literally going, what the hell am I doing here? And it would just drive me nuts. So real estate, there is no like day-to-day same thing for me. There are things that I implement into every single day, which is, obviously you got to put a little time aside for prospecting, make a point to, to make, I call them touches, get 5-6 touches out a day. Maybe it's someone you haven't talked to in a month or two, or, and organize yourself. Like I have marker boards. It looks like a crazy mess in my home office where, I have my pending sales and then, making sure all those are checked off. And then, and then you have your hot leads, the people that you feel like are ready to go, make sure to keep touching those. And then maybe the people that are kind of further down the road, don't lose those. It's just important to kind of make it all happen. Like Justin, I have my first son on the way January 5th. So, thank you guys. It's crazy because you start realizing how little of your day you own. Even though he's not here, I'm like, yesterday I was putting the baby room together because, the baby needs shiplap and that's something they need. And, yeah, of course, yeah, because all babies need that. So a lot of my day is just scatterbrained and, but there are things you have to set aside time to do, like every single day, like TJ would always say, it's like you're building a house and you're putting a brick. Every single day you got to put another brick up, whether that's, prospecting and or checking off stuff. I mean, sticky notes are great, but they can fly away. And he'll always, make points on how I kind of look like if you come up on my desk, it is sticky note central. I have all the notes because right when that phone call ends, you need to remember what the last one was about, et cetera, et cetera. So there.
Gotta get you on Trello.
Yeah, I love that.
Or something.
Yeah, organized chaos.
Love it. Brian.
What was the question again?
Question was about your schedule. Your schedule day to day or week to week or month to month.
Man, what I love about real estate is it changes all the time, right? So I would be the worst employee. If I ever failed in real estate and I had to come work for you, you'd probably fire me in a week. I'm just, I do everything. I feel like I'm always doing it the best. But day to day, my first thing in the morning, I try and get my kids ready for school. It's a huge priority for me is to make sure that I'm as present as I possibly can for my family. I take care of all that, get them out to school, and then I spend about an hour and a half on my follow-up. Hitting those hot, those active, those nurture type clients, and sending all my emails out, and I do that uninterrupted. So I start getting phone calls as soon as 8 o'clock, but I do not take any call until 9:30 until I'm done with that, because it is such a priority for me. I'm a broker, so by the time I get into the office, it's focusing just on my agents and helping them build their personal brands. We preach a lot about personal brand in our office and creating marketing and setting themselves up to be unique and why use you over somebody else. So we do a lot of marketing and do a lot of compliance stuff and all the fun paperwork we do in the office. And then usually in the afternoons is when I set up my schedule. Most of my clients want to see houses in the afternoon, so I am a broker that sells real estate also. So I try and balance that as much as I possibly can.
Love it. Harif.
You do not have to do what I'm about to do. Every time I tell my schedule, people are like, "Oh," but I'm just going to tell you since you asked the
we'd love
question.
to hear it.
Aaron knows the Miracle Morning book changed my life, and I mean that. Like, I'm dead serious about that. So my morning, I break everything down into body, being, balance, and business. And so I went through a season in my life where I made great money, but I was freaking tired. My wife wasn't happy. My kids weren't, my son at the time, I wasn't giving him any attention. And for me, COVID was a blessing in disguise in a way because it forced me to get recentered. And because I'm so competitive, I just was, I devote myself fully. I don't dip my toe in anything. I cannonball, and it's sink or swim. It's just my nature. But now I'm actually accomplishing a lot more with a lot less effort. And this is how I believe you should run your day. So first thing in the morning is devoted to you and what I would call your body and your being. So that's where your emotional, spiritual health, you're no good to your family or your clients if you're burnout. If you're sleep deprived, and you think that this hustle mentality won't catch up with you, it will. Just wait till you turn 30, at least. That's when everything starts changing. Some of the older people are like, 30, please. So
Or 40.
I'm
yeah.
36. I'm 36. I'm pushing 40. So body and being is key. So my mornings belong to me and no one else. And I'm awake when the rest of the world is asleep. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. If I wake up 4:30, even better. And I have this whole routine that I go through. And then I finish that routine with my exercise. And by the time most people are getting out of bed, I am like charged up. I have a cold plunge. I do all this crazy stuff. So anyways, so if you do that for a year, if I cloned you, if you did you ran your business the exact same way, you learned no new techniques, you did nothing, you took exactly what you know. All you did was change your morning routine where you focused on you first. I guarantee you would sell more, have way less anxiety. You'd have a way more fulfilling life. So that's number one. Then, so first part of your day belongs to you. Second part of your day belongs to your business. Third part of your day belongs to your family if you have a family. And that's how I break up my day. So we have team meetings every morning from 9:30 to 10. And after that, I have a meeting with my assistant. Give it up for Myra, by the way. She's the best executive assistant ever. She makes me look way better than I actually look. And so anyways, I do that in the morning. And then I love what Brian is saying. You got to be disciplined with your time because everyone is always pulling for your attention. So if you get distracted, if you answer every text message right away, you're not going to get anything done. You're going to be busy, but you're not very productive. And again, guys, that it depends on where you're at in your season for business. Like I've said, I've pretty much maxed out what my talent can produce. My talent can produce 40 million. I'm pretty much capped out. Yeah, I could work a little bit harder, maybe but I'm not going to get, I'm not going to make a quantum leap unless I start thinking smarter. So, that's how I break up. I wake up at 5 o'clock. I go about 30 minutes to an hour max through the Miracle Morning routine. And then I go hit the gym. And I come home, kiss my kids. My wife, thankfully, she works at home. She's a stay-at-home mom. So she runs the household for me so I could focus on the business. Then I go to work, and then I'm usually out these days by 5:30. It very rarely will I take, this is part of setting expectations in the buyer consultation and in the listing presentation as well. I learned this, most of what we think are fires and emergencies really are not emergencies. Like if you dealt with it the following day, it's okay. But if you call me, you do a deal with me, I don't know if anybody in here has done a deal with me, but I'm not responding to you right away. I don't work around your schedule. If it's urgent and on fire, okay. But I've gotten really good at discerning the difference between the two. And so, I'm intentional with it. And then by 5:30, I go home and I play with my kids. I play dodgeball. I got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they're full of energy. And put them down by 8 o'clock. And I prioritize my sleep. I protect it. You text me past 8 o'clock, you will not get a response. I got my red light glasses on, and I've already written up I have a shutdown ritual that I'm setting up my next day. So, anyways, that's my schedule. I know it's crazy.
Love it.
But whatever.
Hey, I'm gonna just plug. Yeah, the Miracle Morning book is awesome, and I recommend the actual Miracle Morning, not the Realtor one. I'm not saying there's a problem with the Realtor one, but it's definitely not nearly as good as the original. And I recommend the actual book, not the audio book. Although he's about to redo it with his own voice, so I probably will change that recommendation in the next few months. Did someone have something to add here?
I mean, yeah, I was just going to chime in. I was thinking a lot on the way here. Obviously, with the passing of Yusuf and all that, I think so much of us, put so much work in front of us that we forget really why we're doing what we're doing. When I was in my 20s, I was all about being a millionaire. Like, that's all I cared about. I just wanted to make as much as I could. The people that I looked up to, the athletes that I saw on TV that all made that money, I wanted to have the nice cars and the nice house and all that. And when I met my wife and I had my son, that was the reason I got out of chiropractic, was I wanted to be around them. It no longer was about money for me. It was about creating a life that I could give my kids. We can go on vacation when we wanted to, and we could just do the things that we wanted to, not feel stressed. And that's what I love about the real estate world. So obviously with his passing and thinking about him on the way here, I really feel like everybody should prioritize, what's important. Why are you doing what you're doing? If it's your kids or whatever that is. When we get home at 6, we have dinner every night. It's like clockwork. We have dinner together as a family, and my phone shuts off, and I try my best, and I sometimes fault this, but I try and turn my phone off so I'm present, around my kids and my family. And it's like you said, I'm going to answer the call. If it's not urgent, I'll answer it in the morning when I'm working. But I'm around my kids. It's important to me to be present for them. So.
Love it.
A little bit of
Brandon, do you have something to add now?
Yeah.
Go for it, bro.
I really love what Harif said and everything, because the burnout is real. To burn out and the thing about real estate that really attracted everyone here in this room is that we are hard workers. We are not afraid to, basically, most of us will probably have to tone back at some point, because you could work yourself into it, into being crazy. So take care of yourself and make sure that you do take time to turn your phone off. I mean, my wife all the time is like, hey, I'm here. Look, hey. So listen. It is the thing, and it'll help your sales too if you find time to live a little, working out, but do things like, I love to fish and golf, and if I didn't do that, I probably would go crazy, and my clients would know it. So take care of yourself, and definitely one of the biggest challenges is for you to be okay with taking time off, because that's the other thing is you take time off, and then I've been in situations where all of a sudden I actually have more anxiety, because I'm like, oh my God, I should be working, I should be doing this, and then you're like, so take your time off, but actually be okay with yourself taking time off. It's so important.
And plan vacations.
Yes.
I am the busiest a week before I go on vacation.
Yeah.
For some reason, everybody just calls me, and I'm like, I gotta go on vacation. So just plan vacations. I promise you'll be busy.
So true.
I just wanted to add, this is for a husband out there. I don't know who you are, but I'm telling you. I remember, because to your point, we're all grinders, and I get lost in my work because I love what I do. But I'll never forget, I was on a very important call, and my son climbed up the stairs and he fell down. And this is the type of call that is a multi-million-dollar deal, very important, time is limited. I feel the pull and tension in that split moment of like, what do I do? Do I try to my kid or call my wife, hey, that type of thing, which I've done in the past, or do I say, hey, I got to call you back? And so he fell. It wasn't anything crazy, but I said, hey, I interrupted him, CEO of the company. I need to call you back. Click, hung up on him. I go back, Leo, what's going on, buddy? Hold him, hug him, whatever. I call the other guy back in 10 minutes, and can I tell you, the opposite of what I feared actually is what happened. He respected me more because I prioritized my family above my clients. And that fear where you're like, if you're at dinner with your wife and the phone rings and it's that client or whatever, I'm telling you, have a mindset of abundance. And by the way, do you want to work with somebody that thinks they're more important than your own family? They're going to place that demand on you. But I found myself operating out of scarcity and just chasing the next deal, chasing the next deal, chasing the next deal. And I found the opposite to be true. So I don't know who that's for, but if next time your phone rings when you're with your spouse at dinner, don't answer the freaking phone. Tell them, hey, I'm with my wife, I'll call you back. Or don't answer and then say, hey, I was having dinner with my wife, I'm sorry I couldn't answer. So that's it.
I'm going to guess that none of you do what you do because you want to be a slave to your phone. At least I like to remind myself that the reason I do what I do is not to be a slave to my phone, and sometimes that helps me like put my foot down and draw on the line that, hey, like, I don't need to respond to it just because a notification or a bling or a, color or whatever. Like, our phones are all designed to make us think like that we need to respond to them at all times. That's why they have all these colors. That's why nothing's. In fact, there's a program you can download that makes your whole thing really boring, and it's supposed to like make you 30% less addicted to your phone. And I like laugh about it, but it's true. It's like all these colors and notifications and rings and scroll, like all these things when you're scrolling keep you scrolling and keep you focused on it. And I think that's really important, all that. I'm going to ask one more question to the whole panel. How many of you guys learned something so far today? Make some noise. So let's give it up for the Enzian Theater for having us here, by the way. Despite they had a few issues with their renovation, but hopefully we'll have a new building sometime next year, or a new room. But here's what I was going to throw out there. Since it's a smaller room, I'm going to throw out a little offer. For those of you that are willing to join us in the Eden Bar after, they've got the best burgers in town. They've got some good food. And this whole place is non-for-profit. So, like, it's really cool that an independent theater that's nonprofit, that's been here for so many years, allows us to come here on a day. They're not usually, nobody comes here at 9 a.m., let's be honest. So it's really cool that the staff makes this work for us. And here's what I'm going to do for all of you and for the staff. I'm going to buy the first $400 worth of lunch for those of you that stick around. So all I got to do is order until they cut it off. At that point, it's on you guys. But if you stick around and join us, join the panelists, eat whatever you want, up to $400 on me, and the rest of you can buy your own stuff. Other side notes, we've got a masterclass on January 18th. I have not made that live yet, but it will be soon. So keep your eyes on your email for it. How many of you guys got something good out of this panel? Let's get like a takeaway or two, and then I'm going to ask them this. First person, I'm going to give you a book. This is from David Kurz, who spoke on the panel a few months ago. But yeah, you have a takeaway here? You want to share? I thought you had your hand up. Did you know? Does someone want to share a takeaway? Anybody? Someone share something you got out of it. Love it. That's awesome. Here. Who else got a takeaway? Let's get to him. Yep, right over here. Love it. Love it. Let's get two more. Over there. Just yell it out. Love it. Love it. So for those who didn't hear, be confident that it is the right time to buy, like Harif had said. Yep, I saw a hand over here. Yeah, yell it out. Love it. I saw one more hand over here. Go for it. Yep, right next to TJ. Yep. Yeah, you have something to add?
30-second hack. I was never a morning person, seriously. And the biggest thing I'll tell you is your morning starts the night before. If you get the night right, it will make it so much easier for you to wake up early in the morning and get, what you need to get done. So it's Start the night before. Get to bed early. Put the blue light blocking glasses on. Don't sleep with your phone in your room. Charge it in your bathroom. All those little hacks, I'm telling you, will make a huge difference.
Ground and maths. You can do all sorts of things you can look up. But also, I would say that a lot of people, they overlook. They get so thinking that it's about willpower of how early they wake up. They don't put any time or thought into the number of hours of sleep they need, the types of foods they need to eat, the amount of water they like. It's not that you just wake up early. It's that you wake up early with a full night of sleep. And I think a lot of people screw that up. They go, you know what? I'm going to get motivated. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. They go to sleep at like 1 a.m. and they wonder why they operate like shit the next day. And it's like the most motivating people in the world are the most routine people in the world that we hear from. They're handling their stuff, like he said, the night before so that they can be up early and be regimented, but they're not doing it at the detriment of their own health. I'm going to ask one more question to the panelists, but I'm going to make a quick plug for those of you that are in the top 500. Make sure you join us November 30th. You should check your emails, texts, whatnot for invites, the Facebook group for the top 500. And if you don't have it, reach out to me. But the first 100 people in the door are going to get one of these cool mugs. So I figured that's pretty sweet. We'll be at Gatlin Hall Brewing, and you should get the details somewhere or know where to find them. Anyway, let's ask the panelists. I'm going to give you guys one more question, and we'll go all the way down the row. And there's no reason this is the last question. I just figured that it's a good question. I could ask you about the future of real estate, but I'm not going to. I could ask you about your mindset, but I think we've gotten into enough of your mindsets. I could ask you about the fourth quarter, but it's pretty much over. So let's do this. Let's talk about how you keep in touch with your sphere, your past clients, and maybe give us one of your favorite either strategies, appreciation events. Like give us one nugget on a thing you do differently with your sphere or clients that works for you. Justin.
I'm probably the worst person to get advice on this because I have trouble gift giving, like giving gifts to my wife. I'm like, what do I give? And I just kind of ignore and do the gift card route and cheap out. So putting yourself in the mindset of knowing your client, who are they? What do they like? Do they have a dog? Do they have young kids? And are they into travel? And having something unique to give. So we had some tickets to the Margarita Ball coming up, which is where I got engaged to my wife. And I said, let's invite some of our most recent couple clients. And like us, they would need to get a babysitter, so you got to tell them early enough. And that little reach out, even if they couldn't go, was a nice little gesture of, hey, you thought of me. And that's really what it comes down to, is putting yourself in their shoes, thinking of what they might want to be asked to go to. And the second thing that I do, which worked well for me, was kind of scaling that, reaching out and touching your sphere using social media. So when you put out a story, you might reach 300 people, and you might get some people commenting back directly to you with the DMs saying, oh my gosh, that was so funny, that story you did, or that was interesting, or tell me more. And then you take time to engage with them. So now you reached maybe 10 or 15 people in your sphere instead of just one per hour with the reach outs.
Yeah, so I think looking at your clients as actual friends is a huge part of it, because it's not, you got to know a little bit about each one of your clients. So, for example, if you have, what football team does your client like? What's their hobbies, things like that, because I think that following up a lot of times doesn't need to be about real estate. I feel like it's a turnoff if you're the person that's always, selling, don't be a robot. I actually find myself sometimes on the phone with clients, and I'll try to see how long we can carry a conversation without talking about real estate at all. Because to everyone's point here, it is about selling yourself. It's about knowing your client. It's about, looking at them as more than a sale. Because, the truth is that'll get you a lot farther, and the expertise and everything, that'll come when you guys, are on a showing or what have you. But if you can talk with your clients and know more about them than just what they're looking for and how many bedrooms and bathrooms and what their price point, all that stuff is great, but they're friends, and that's the easiest way to follow up. I mean, if the Eagles win, text your Eagles fans,
They will Monday night. Sorry, Chiefs.
Yeah. If the sun's out and your clients are from up north and it's 80 degrees and it's 40 degrees over there, so sometimes I'll literally take a picture of the sun and be like, how you doing? And they just, so just be a real person. Don't be a robot. Biggest thing.
Love it. Before Brian answers, I want to add one thing. One of the easiest things you can do when you're not trying to sell to somebody, but you need to reach out to them, is invite them to something. Two thoughts on this. I mean, I see agents all the time posting things like, who wants my 2 tickets to something? You could not devalue a gift more. If you've ever read the book Giftology, one of my original mentors in Cutco, actually, John Rulin, wrote this amazing book on gifting. And he talks about that one of the biggest mistakes people make is they devalue the deed. They're like, all right, here, like, take this. Like, instead of like making it feel about them. So you would be much better served to take a few minutes and send a personal invite to 5 or 6 of your friends, or to 1 or 2 people. Even if they don't take the tickets, you'd be better. In fact, if you're an affiliate of ours, like if you're an advertiser in Orlando Real Producers and you didn't come here with 2 or 3 of your own clients or 3 or 4 of your own prospects, you're missing the boat on why this thing is valuable. You came in here to hear a bunch of agents talk about their businesses. You sell to agents. You're not even in the business. And yet, like, the biggest opportunity was actually like hitting up 20 agents or 30 agents this week, or 100, and saying, you should join me at Masterclass. There'll be 5 badasses or 4 on a panel that, you know, are going to be speaking. Why don't you come join me and we'll grab lunch after? Like, this room should be packed to the brim, not by me, but by the people who invited their friends to come. Just being honest, like, I'm not really worried about it. We're going to do the same thing anyway. But I think there's a huge opportunity missed, not just in this room, other places too. Like, hopefully everyone's, you know, applying this to themselves, but just taking the time to send someone an invite. Even when they say no, your relationship gets way, 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 way better. And I think a lot of people miss that. You know, if you end up with a opening and I text Mikey, hey, any chance you're free for lunch today? Even if he's like, no, I'm busy as shit, he's still going to feel like I took the time to actually personally, like, we're going to feel more connected because I took 5 seconds to send him a text invite that he couldn't even accept. And I think the power of that reciprocity and the connection and the thinking of someone is really underutilized when it comes to selling and when it comes to all that stuff. So just thought I'd share that. You were going to add something, though. Harif, did you have something you were about to add earlier? Brian, did you?
No, I'm just going to say.
Oh, go ahead. You can answer the question now. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to chime in a little bit what Brandon said. When I do my follow-up, I never start off with, hey, I'm checking in, or hey, I'm following up. Because it's not, a lot of it's like you're building a relationship with this person. And when you say I'm checking in or I'm following up, it's like, if I'm on the other side of it, it's, okay, all right, I got it. When I find the house, I'll text you or something like that. So my follow-up is more about the relationship and building the relationship. He was just talking about the Eagles. When the Steelers won, I knew he was a huge Steelers fan from Pittsburgh. That was my text. Hey man, congrats, Steelers won, awesome. Like, having conversations, building relationships with those people is going to get you from a transactional agent that's doing well 1 year to doing well for the rest of your career, because those people will love you forever. One thing I do in my follow-up is when the deal closes, I put the date in there so I know, and I get an alert 1 year or 1 month, 6 months, and a year after. So I'll reach out to them just randomly saying, hey, how you loving the house? It's a month from now, or 6 months, how you loving the house? A year, do you need anything? Are you guys doing any renovations? I have all the contacts. I want that person to use me after the transaction is over, and that's how I build a lifelong relationship with them, and I stay top of mind when they need me. So,
and don't be afraid to add notes. Like, if you're talking to some, because it gets so busy, and then like I'll say 3 kids, and here's the name, stuff like that. Just make sure to write little notes, because 4 years later you'll be like, God, that's 200 properties ago, and it's hard to remember. It actually, crazy how hard it is.
If you're not using some sort of follow-up software, you're doing a huge disservice to your business. I was doing it on Excel my first year I was at Charles Rutenberg, and there's just so much that can offer you with these automatic alerts and whatnot, because you're going to forget. You're going to have this amazing client that you were helping for the first 3 months, and they kind of like tapered off and they're not looking as hard anymore, and then you just forget about them. It's going to happen as your business grows and your sphere gets larger. You're going to forget potentially on about those little deals, and all of a sudden you lost 3 or 4 deals that year that you could have had if you were doing some sort of follow up. So.
And Harif, I'm gonna let you answer this, but I'm gonna share one nugget based on what Brian was saying. I'm not an agent, so take this with a grain of salt. But I've sold a ton of other stuff and wear a Hall of Fame ring from selling knives. So that takes a lot of knives. So what I would say is a lot of people they say things about wanting to create a relationship for life, but they never set the context with the client or a customer because they're not even a client, and they've never even given the person the impression that they plan on serving them forever. So when you or if you drop the ball on your follow-up, the person's not like, oh, I'm TJ's client, but I haven't heard from him. The person is like, I bought a house from TJ, is done. So TJ may see that. Now TJ's probably great at the follow-up, but you get what I'm saying? You guys see these people as your clients. A lot of them see you as someone that served a transaction. And so like even in Cutco, when I was selling people knives, I would actually tell them that like my goal is just not just to help you out. My goal is that you think of me anytime you need this for the rest of your life and that you come to me. In fact, I don't even want to sell them today, and people still call me because they're like, oh, my so-and-so's getting married. I need a set of knives. And I'm like, shit, I told them I do this for life. And now I have to take their call and sell them a few $100 thing. And sometimes it's, it's funny because I'm like, I can't say I'm not happy, but but I think that agents, I don't know the exact best way to do it because I'm not an agent, but I think setting the context of like, hey, I want to be your real estate resource for life. Like I'm here to build a relationship. I'm not trying to serve this deal. Like however you want to word it, wherever you want to put it. I just think communicating the context of like, my goal is to build a lifetime relationship or a long-term relationship and be your go-to person for this, I think is often lost on the person actually consuming or buying the product. And the person selling it just assumes if they put the right systems, everyone's going to be a customer for life. And the customer is like, I just walked in that store to buy something. They didn't say I'm going to go there forever. And I think we need to set that context. So just a thought that I share. Take it with a grain of salt if you want to. Harif, let's hear.
I love that. So everyone always talks about it, and I won't make you do this, but if you've ever sold someone a property and then you find out that person listed their house 3 years later with someone else, you know it hurts, right? But you gotta wonder, why did that happen? And really, it's very simple. It's because you didn't keep in touch with them, because you were transactional. And so number one, I love this quote that I'll kind of give to you guys. It really helped me change my perspective. The sale really begins after the closing. Don't make the mistake that the sale is like the closing. That is when the sale actually begins if you want to build a massive referral-based business. So like 80 to 90% of my business is referral-based. I'll be totally honest with you guys. Like I'm listening to Justin YouTube. I'm like, man, I got to get on YouTube. I got to market myself because I think you don't have a social media page, dude. Imagine if you had one. Like it'd be freaking crazy, So, but I think about this because I gotten kind of comfortable with it. But it's the gift that keeps on giving. So, a couple things I'll give you some ideas that everybody could start doing to make sure that you're keeping in touch. Number one, handwritten note cards. So if you've ever done ninja training, if you're a real estate agent, I highly recommend it. But they're big on handwritten note cards. Write 2 handwritten note cards every single day, 5 days a week. That's it. Whoever comes to your mind, it doesn't have to even be a client. It could be your chiropractor or ex-chiropractor or whoever, right? Just write 2 handwritten note cards. When's the last time you got a handwritten note card? I bet you it was a long time ago. How many emails you get, though? How many text messages you get, though? Right, so that's number one. And the other one that we're coming up at the end of the year, annual equity reviews. Annual equity reviews.
That's
Every
a nugget
single
right
year,
there.
right? I'm giving you the gold right now. Okay, so every year,
hope
all
y'all
of
got
your
that.
past clients should receive an annual equity review from you to let them know how is their property doing right now. It's a great opportunity for you to talk about real estate and for you to not just be another real estate agent or realtor, but to be their trusted advisor. That just like they meet, regularly with their financial planner, or just like they would meet regularly with their doctor, they're looking at you as not just another commodity where you're one Google search away from being replaced. You're actually building a real relationship of value. And my follow-up strategy is always follow up with value. If I don't have something valuable to say or something that's about them, I don't follow up. If I'm like you said, just checking in, like that's so annoying. We ignore people like that, right? But if you're sending somebody something valuable for them, then they're more likely to respond. So annual equity review is a great way. 2 handwritten note cards. I can go on and on.
Branded
this.
knives.
You could talk about it. You can come talk to me later if you want some more ideas, but yeah.
Love it. Let's give a giant round of applause to all the panelists, all of the sponsors, and let's give it up to Enzian Theater for having us here. And first $400 at the Eden Bar is on me. We've already spent some of it, so go and get your food if you want some. Stick around. Grab. We need one photo, though, so panelists jump up. Dave's going to get a shot whenever he's ready. And everyone else, thank you guys for coming out. See you in January. Keep your eyes on your emails because the first 50 tickets or so are going to be free, and then we're charging you all for charity, so make sure you guys get the free ones. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for coming.